Space, the final frontier. Space Station Asselin sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
We're going to pick right up where we left off on the bridge. The battle is going to set the scene. I will just make sure everybody understands where everything is in the field of battle. We have the Dilamus Christian at medium range away from Asselin Station in an arced line from the USS Harrington, the Akira-class vessel that was also at Asselin Station. They are medium range from that vessel. Both of those vessels are long range from the USS Rama and the TSS Tarian and the Romulan Talus class and the Klingon Burrell class. Both of those vessels are birds of prey for their respective polities. At the present time, there is a boarding shuttle that has attached itself to the hull of the Harrington. There are also some random ships back in that same line as the previously mentioned enemy vessels, that being the freighter Q Marie, which is effectively a Federation allied ship, but it is clearly on the side of the bad guys at this point. There are a pair of small Breen vessels, and there are fighter groups, 3 for the Rama, 2 remaining for the Talus, and 2 remaining for the Burrell. With that said, we're going to turn the mic over to the captain of the Dilamus Christian, and he can get us started.
Very good. So first, Mr. Staven, get me the Harrington. Commander Chilrizzler, status report.
We have the tank, the Kitty Hawk, and the Vagabond are heading towards the Rama at this point. Damage report, no damage yet. We are just down on our transporters.
Tanari, get me transporters as soon as you can.
Yes, sir. It's next on the repair list.
Very good. Lieutenant Milan, scan me a weakness in the Rama. I know it's still showing battle damage.
Yes, sir. Get right on it.
And Mr. Najjar, assemble in Transporter Room 1 with a team to assist the Harrington in repelling boarders.
Aye, sir. And with that, Najjar heads off the bridge. Lieutenant Alana Kem steps up to the tactical position vacated by Lieutenant Najjar.
I look over my shoulder. I'm like, Lieutenant Alana, I'm going to need some of your Bajoran resistance talents.
Yes, sir.
With that, the Harrington comes over, and you can sense the chaos that's going on in the background. You can hear alarms. You can hear their computer sounding off. Attention, we have orders on decks 14, assembling security crews. And basically, you're then also hearing the captain saying, "I'm with you in a moment." You see him on the screen. They're looking at the pad, and they're talking, and then their operations officer reports over. "Sir, they're locking us out of the systems. We're working on it, but I don't know if we're going to be fast enough. They seem to have some kind of override device."
Captain, my team stand ready to beam in and assist. We've got experience dealing with these creatures. If you want.
Whatever you can do, do it. We've got problems.
Excellent.
I lost contact with our engineering section. They got to our transporter room, and they're beaming into various places all over the ship. We've locked off the bridge. but we're being unsuccessful in locking out command protocols. Whatever this override device is, it's bad. This gets on a Starfleet vessel. I don't know if anybody can beat him.
Roger that. Help is on the way, sir.
All right.
Mr. Tenari, give me those transporters.
All right.
And with that, Dave, you're just putting it online, so normally it wouldn't be that difficult. However, we are in a bit of a time crunch. This is going to be slightly more difficult, but more importantly, there could be a complication here. So we're talking 19 or 20 will fetch you a complication, and the difficulty here would be a 3.
All right. So I am going to spend 1 momentum and 2 threat to get 2 extra dice. I am going to use procedural compliance to go ahead and make one of those dice a success.
Okay.
I have the focus transporters and replicators, and I'm assuming daring and engineering will be appropriate for this because we're doing this in a hurry. That gives me a target number of 15. All right. 12, 15, and 19, but I'm going to use bold engineering to reroll the 19. That gives me a 12, so that's 3 with the procedural compliance. That's 4 successes.
My direct assist
Okay.
is a 6, so that's a success. And Lee, do you want the DC to roll?
In this case, I would say no, because you're actually fixing the DC. DC is the subject of the challenge, so it really couldn't assist with the challenge.
And then with intense, I get a free momentum for immediate spend. Can I use that to cut the time for the whole procedure?
Absolutely.
For the repairs and getting Najjar and his team out?
Yep. They assemble in the transporter room with that particular spend. By the way, so that was you hit the target difficulty exactly, right?
I got 4 successes. So with Joe's roll, we've got 5 total. So I believe we net 2 momentum.
Gotcha. Yeah. And transporters are up and running. The team assembles. Once we go through everybody's actions, they will be able to transport in this round of activity. And then we'll go back into the actual starship combat stuff. So this is happening in between starship stuff. Basically, everybody's.
Could I spend that threat to take another major action so I could go ahead and beam them over?
Yeah. It's 2 momentum immediate. Let me confirm. Starship combat momentum spends. Regular ones to page 293. Extra major.
2 momentum.
Yes, but it is not immediate, so you would have to spend momentum. You could not use threat.
Cannot use a threat. Okay. You think that's a good spend of 2 momentum to go ahead and get them out?
I think that would be another action.
Okay, then I will wait. All right, then that is my turn.
Sounds good. Lacey, you've got some scanning to do, I hear.
Yes, I need to scan for weaknesses on the USS Rama. Is that correct?
Yep. Difficulty for this is going to be, it's got battle damage, so I guess that makes it a little easier. So not terribly difficult. We're only talking a 2. No extended complication range.
Great. So this is control science. Can I use bold science because of how chaotic and stressful this is?
Absolutely. We're in the middle of a battle. That makes perfect sense to me.
All right, so you spend 1 threat to get a die.
And does that allow me to re-roll? Is that the one that...
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I have 2 successes right off the bat, but I have 1 that I'm going to re-roll.
Okay.
Does meeting is a success, right? It's not under. It's meeting.
Equal
Okay,
to
so
or
3
under. And the DC gets a 10, which assists with its sensor's security.
All right.
So I believe we've got 4 successes and generate 2 momentum.
Okay. So 4 successes on a 2 difficulty. Yeah. Okay. So we've got that all covered. You're able to isolate the weaknesses on the Rama, basically some of the anchor points of the weapon. What you do note with that scan, however, is those are the exact areas that the screening ships are covering. So it does appear that the Rama is aware of its own weaknesses, unlike the other ships, which seem to have their fighters flying around and doing standard fighter ops. These are basically synchronously flying with the Rama. He's using them as extended physical shielding, effectively, thus making firing at the Rama more difficult and certainly targeting any weaknesses. So basically, if you're exploiting weaknesses, you have a complication range. It's going to be extended by 3. Basically provides additional resistance for the Rama.
We might have to take out these attack wings first.
Mr. Chizilra.
So first, I want to lock the targeting centers onto the ship that I'm going to be shooting at, which I believe is the Rama. But instead of firing, using the fire action, I'd like to use the major action, create a trait, and basically fire in a way that is going to get those fighters rotating in a pattern that I can track. Does that make sense?
So, Adam, mechanically, I think that sounds like a 2 momentum spend after you fire to create the
Okay.
trait of like predictable movement so that future attacks would be at lower DC, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm just looking at it as it is a major action listed in the tacticals. That's why I was
Right. You can
looking
do
at
that,
this.
or you can spend 2 momentum after you do the attack to get the same result.
Okay. Yeah, no, let's do it that way. Because that
Because we've got 6 momentum, so we
Okay.
might as well spend it.
Sounds good. So I will spend 1 threat and 2 momentum to get 2 extra dice. Is that how that works? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
So
that's
control security is what you're looking for.
Yep, I got a 2, a 7, 7, and a 13. So that is 5 successes.
And then the DC is weapon security. It gets a 4, which is a critical success for the DC. So that puts you're at 5, that's 6, 7, succeeding by 5.
Right.
So we're at 9 momentum, 10 with your bonus.
Right, 10 with the bonus from intense.
Now it's phasers, so we can spend a bunch of momentum to hit multiple targets, which I think we're probably going to want to do, right, with the fighters.
Yeah.
Lee, what did we say? How much damage needed to take out one of those? Each one of the fighters?
I believe it's slightly different for each type. If you're hitting the Rama, you're going for the Peregrines, or the altered Peregrines, rather. They are resistance 2, shields of 6.
Distance of 2, shields of 6. So we need to do 8 damage. And the DC currently is doing 5. Oh, and we're Starfleet, so we've got phasers, which have versatile too. So we've got 12 momentum. We're going to get cheeky here. So we need 3 more points of damage, which I believe if we go to the combat momentum spends, add damage, unless we have an additional trait, which we don't. It's 1 damage for every 2 momentum. So if we spend 6 of our 12, Adam,
Yep.
push ours up to 8 damage. And then because it's a phaser array, it has the area quality, and for each momentum we spend, we can hit an additional target that's in close range to the original one. And since they're doing this screening thing, I feel like we can spend 5 of our remaining 6 and blow up 6 of the 9 fighters that are protecting the Rama, leaving us with a single momentum. Oh, wait, we want to do it so that we've got 2 momentum so you can create the trait.
Not if we can basically flush half the field.
Okay.
I was thinking it was going to be a lot more difficult to take those out. I thought we were going to be picking them off one at a time.
We got Mark 12 phaser arrays.
Yeah, I was going to say arrays are nice.
All right, so Lee, we're going to spend 11 momentum as we documented, 6 for extra damage and 5 for extra targets. So I believe, according to the math, that takes out 6 of the 9 altered peregrines.
So there's 1 wing left, and that leaves you with 1 momentum, and I have 4 threat. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Your firing solution has definitively done its job. You get the Peregrine fighters doing a corkscrew kind of action. However, the ability to use the area impact of your weapon systems causes them, as one arcs and the other 2 follow to cover their spots in synchronicity, they just actually run into the beam. It basically, you are chasing one, and because of the way they're flying, the others run into it. And you splash 2 of the fighter wings.
Honestly, you just keep shooting at the gun on the Rama and they keep flying in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. They are defending it, and that is the way they were doing that. And so with that, the Talis breaks formation and moves into close range with the DC, but puts it between you and the Rama.
Okay, so
On-
it's
on
trying to
your-
screen.
Yeah, it is basically screening, and its fighters are also, however, its fighters are going to attack you. Now, for space combat, that's a difficulty of 3, is that
2.
correct? 2?
Energy weapons, there's 2. Torpedoes are 3.
Okay, yeah, and they are using disruptors. You know what? I stand corrected. I got that a little backwards. My apologies. It's the Klingons who are attacking.
Is it the Klingons who are screening and attacking, or the
Yes.
Romulans are screening and the Klingons are attacking?
The Klingons are screening and attacking.
Okay.
And you've got 2 Klingons. I'm going to do them both separately, and I'm going to buy a die for each. 2 threat gone away. All right, and let's see what we've got. Woo! Weapons of 12. Security of 2. That's a 14 or under. I have 4 total successes on the hit, and that is a disruptor.
They have vicious, so they can spend 1 for 1 for damage.
Okay, so I will spend their 1 extra that they got for beating the challenge for extra damage, and that is going to be 7 total.
Shields at
and-
92%.
And what do we need to hit the?
We have a resistance of 6, so 1 point goes into shields.
And by the way, I didn't say it, but in order to have both of those wings attack, I did spend to do
The
that.
2 threat.
2 threat. Yeah, I'm actually at 1 threat total right now. All right, so here's how
Those
this is
ones
going
are
to work.
20s, Lee.
In the words of the characters from one of my favorite non-Disney animated cartoons, how about both? So here's how this is going to work. We have a total of 3 successes, and they will spend my last remaining for that extra damage.
Look, you generate 1.
Oh,
You
that's
need-
right. Okay.
2.
Yep. Actually, I'm going to take that threat, and I'm going to generate 2.
All
Yeah.
right.
So you're going to take 2 on this one.
Shields
some
at
crazy-
81%.
Now, they
Nice.
did, however, get a complication. In the process of doing that, their impulse engines go down. So they're just sailing past until they get that fixed. And it's back to the crew of the DC. How would you like to act?
Who's left? Get Alana.
Yeah, I'm going to direct Lieutenant Alana to target the Romulan bird of prey. Full phaser spread.
All right. Then full phaser spread.
It's just control plus security attack.
Yeah, she has focus and phasers.
Yeah, she does.
What plus security is firing phasers?
Control security.
Okay, so that's a 14. What's the difficulty? You said it was 2.
2.
So I'm going to spend a momentum
Yep.
to get an extra dice. Difficulty is 14.
And remember, you're rolling for not Tanari. Tell your dice.
This is not Tanari. We go by the will of the emissary. So that's 3 successes.
Okay, so the DC will assist on a 6, which is a success. So that 4?
That's 4 successes.
And Lee, because I directed, Tobor gets to assist. I'm going to spend 2 threat to use my voice of authority to make my assist die count as though I rolled a 1.
Okay.
So we will have 6 successes. And because I have the advisor talent, Dave, I'm going to have you re-roll that failed 16.
Okie dokie. That is a 3, which with my phaser focus is 2 successes.
Excellent. So that brings us to 8 successes, generating 6 plus 2 plus 1 momentum. 2 for the versatile phasers and 1 for Tobor's patient species ability. So we are currently sitting on 9.
All right. And remind me again, resistance is your structure And the factor for your scale.
So
So
it's half scale plus the structure factor.
okay. So
So it should be like 3 or 4 for the
it's 4.
Talus. 4? Okay.
Yep.
So our base damage for the DC is 5. So we're going to spend 6 of our 9 to enhance it by 3. So we're doing
Okay.
8 damage. So it'd be 4 shields to the
Excellent.
Talus. And we have 3 momentum left.
I just want to say, as a Bajoran, I am not used to being the bigger ship in a space battle.
All right, that's 4, and their shields.
The base Talus has shields of 14.
Okay.
Oh, resistance of 3, shields of 14.
Weren't we fighting the Burrell?
Sorry, yeah.
You're
They've got resistance 3, shields 15. So they get
okay.
1 more point. But we do 1 more point of damage then. So we do
Okay.
5 points of their 15.
All right, they take damage, and then it goes back to the bad guys unless you're spending. Oh, where does that leave you for momentum? I'm at 0 threat, by the way.
You should be at 2 threat now because I gave you 2.
Okay.
And
So
we're at
that's-
3 momentum.
Got it. All right. And so it is up to them. They already went. The Rama has not gone. Now the Talis spends 2 threat. And on Lieutenant Nealon's sensors, she can see that their power to their weapon has increased by 25%.
The Rama, right, is
No, the Talis class.
okay.
As opposed to focusing on attacking, they are just focused on generating the power necessary to be able to fire their weapon early.
Is this they have reached 25% or they are 25% higher than last time we checked?
They are 25% higher than last time. And I believe you were keeping track of where everybody was on that. Is that correct?
What I had was that we had 10 minutes or less, probably less.
So it
And
was originally a 10-minute clock. For the ease of use, I'm going to basically do that in percentages from this point forward because it's just a little easier to keep that in mind than tracking minutes, hours, all of
don't
that
want to
stuff.
count the minutes to our death.
Yeah. When we get to 60 seconds, I can count it down, but game time is weird, so it's easier to go in percentages than actual time, I think, at this point. In order for everybody to have been at 10 minutes, that was 25%. They are now at 50%, where everybody else is in between that and 50. They basically got to the next stage faster than everybody else would normally get. And it is back to the DC.
All right. Dave, sorry hasn't gone this turn, has he?
The last thing I did was fix the transporters.
Yep, that was last turn.
So you're up.
Okay. Then I will beam on Najar and his crew over to the Harrington. What's my difficulty?
There's no difficulty to do that. The Harrington, their shields went down unless you want to put them in a specific place. If you're beaming them to the pad in one of their primary transporter rooms, no difficulty. If you're beaming them to any transporter pad other than their primary ones, you'll have a difficulty of 1. If you're beaming them into any large area, assembly area, shuttle bays, cargo bays, their arboretum, any of their larger spaces, that would be a difficulty of 2. And anything else that you pick would be a difficulty of 2, but will have very high complication ranges.
So
Okay.
real quickly, just on page 190, you want me to go over the standard transporter rules just for
Sure.
for clarification. So as you were saying, the pad to pad difficulty is a 0. Pad to site, like so beaming down onto a planet or beaming over to another ship, that's a difficulty of 1. And a
Yep.
site to site transport is a 2. And then operating the transporters remotely, like from the bridge or something, adds another difficulty on top of any other previous difficulties. And then, like you said, shields block, or you could have like the armory by, I would imagine by default, in a Federation starship have some sort of shielding to make it harder to get into.
Yep.
All right. I'll look over Najar, say, Lieutenant, where do you wish to touch down?
Get us where we can easily get to the action, but we're not beaming into the middle of it.
I would gather that would mean the transporter pads are out because that's where they set the shuttle bay.
Works for us.
All right. You said the shuttle bay was difficulty 1. Then I will spend a threat to get an additional dice. Again, daring engineering. This is in the middle of combat and we're being fired on.
Okay.
I have transporters and replicators. Procedural compliance will take one of these dice aside to get 1 success. And then to roll a 9 and an 8 with compliance has a total of 3 successes.
And
Excellent.
sensor science supported by the ship. Oh, that's a 18, so that's not going to assist.
Okay, so 3 successes. I believe that nets us 2 momentum
Yep.
Plus your bonus.
plus my bonus momentum.
So if you want to spend 1 and 1 and create us a trait to help when they show up on the other side, right place at the right time.
That sounds perfect.
Good job, Lieutenant Tanari.
I am a maestro with the transporters.
It does appear that. With that, we're back to the enemy. The freighter, the Q Marie, is going to try a little maneuver. There's a complication range of 4 on this. They are going to spend a threat to get an extra die, and they are going to attempt a version of the Picard maneuver, not to so much not be shot, but basically to bypass this mid-range and basically drive right at Asselin Station and get in close range with Asselin Station.
Good luck with that.
And that would be a 3 difficulty, I would imagine, because that's not easy to do. And 4 complication range.
Come on, Tanari the roll.
They do not succeed. So they move very fast. What they are able to do is they get up to full impulse power, quite a bit more than you would use in this situation. They blow through the lines of this combat. However, they did get a complication and they wing the Klingon ships that were dead in the water. And basically, those Klingon ships are now inoperable. And if someone would be so kind as to roll a d20 and then tell me what you get. If you're a 1 or a 2, I will let the player group decide what system is breached on this vessel that's careening towards Asselin Station. But basically, I'm going to just round around the departments because they'll end up with a system breach.
I say let Adam roll. He hasn't rolled a lot tonight.
Okay.
I rolled an 18.
Woohoo! Okay. So their science is breached. They have no sensors. They are flying blind. And back to the Federation.
All right, so Lee, with us having 4 momentum, I'm going to spend 2 of it to take an extra action, and I am going to direct Mr. Chizilrer to full phasers at the Klingons.
Okay.
Okay. So I would actually like to do a minor action first, and I'm going to calibrate the weapons to take advantage of the fact that they're blind. What do we have for momentum?
Oh, we've got 2 now.
And what do they have to threat? You know what? I don't even want to know. I'm going to spend
did.
1 momentum and 2 threat to get the 2 extra dice.
So that would now bring me to 4.
And that's 4 dice. I'm going to re-roll that because I don't want a 20. So that is 5 successes.
So I assist you. I rolled a 3, so I get a critical on my command presence assist.
Mm-hmm.
And the DC weapon security 13 gets a 13. So we have 3 additional successes to what you rolled.
Yep, I got 5, so that's 8.
So that's 8. So again,
And-
we are 6 over.
Yep, and because I did calibration of weapons, the damage goes up by 1.
Yep. So where the phasers are versatile too, so we generate 2 bonus momentum. I am patient, so I generate a bonus momentum, and you are intense, so we
Yep.
generate a bonus momentum. So we've got 2 currently, 6. So we've got 12 momentum pending, and the current damage is 6. They have 10 shields left, 3 resistance, so 13. We need an additional 6. Do we dump it all at him?
We could take them out. We can also throw something like the devastating attack in there just for flavor, or we can keep some of it. It would be good to take out one of these ships. Yeah, let's target their engines and fire.
Yes. Okay, so it is going to be 6 plus 6 plus 1. We're going to spend all 12 momentum on doing 13 damage, Lee.
All right. And so that's the bird of prey getting splashed.
It's getting 2 breaches. It's a scale
Okay.
3, right?
No shields, 2 breaches. At that kind of devastation with that kind of momentum, I will let you all decide what you want to breach.
Weapons and engines. Neutralize it as a threat.
The bird of prey, its torpedo battery explodes. One of the wings with its wing disruptors like kind of explodes, and you see the wing and the disruptor kind of rolling off into space as it burns up in a little mini fireball.
Have I shot another nacelle off of a ship?
Yes, it is clearly in bad repair. Like there's exposed hull. It's awful. So with that, the Rama is up. And on your screen, you are hailed. Stevens comes back on. You are bound and determined to destroy us.
It doesn't have to end this way. Power down your weapon. We can talk about this.
I will make you a deal. I will give you the opportunity to save a lot of lives. If only one of these weapons successfully fires, whoever is in its wake will be susceptible to their will. Send me Pritchard, and we won't fire. You have a fully operational space station. Thousands of lives. Send them to me.
I'm going to
Give
need
him up.
I'm going to need a show of good faith. Trust has been strained ever since you parasites tried to take over Starfleet. So power down, or at least stop charging your weapon.
You
I
can
will
trust if I don't have Pritchard by the time my weapon is armed, it will fire. The 4 threat I just spent, they're now at 75%. And it is back to the Federation side.
Mr. Staving, get me Asselin Station.
Asselin Station.
I need Commodore Pritchard right now.
I'm on.
Did you hear, sir?
I heard.
It's your call. You're the one with the pips.
I'm only going to ask once because we may not have more than this moment. Do we have time to stop all of their weapons?
Not with the Harrington out, sir. I don't think so. We took out the bird of prey, but there's still the Talus and the Rama and that Terrarian ship floating around. But they're protecting the Rama too closely.
You're going to have to buy me enough time to come away from the station so they can beam me out. I'm not going to expose the station to a transporter.
Of course.
Interrupting your signal, and you have no exact idea how this is happening. You hear in Klingon first, and then the universal translator picks up. House KOTOR will not let its friends fall. Dilamus Christian, you are not alone. And with that, two birds of prey decloak. And these are good ones. These are modern ships. One of them you recognize as being from your friends from the station that you assisted earlier. The other one you don't recognize, but there is a transponder signal that comes across the EXO station that indicates that they have been in communication with the Michael Collins. Tell us what you need. I see a target-rich environment, and it's time we start plundering.
Commodore, the tactical situation has changed. But do you think you can negotiate them to standing down? Is it worth the risk? Can we trust them? I still don't know what they are looking for, what they want, what they came here to demand. I haven't
Dilamus
opened the
Christian?
file, as you suggested.
Dilamus Christian? Clear my seas. With that, we are in our third round. Federation, you're up.
I have Staven put me back on with the Rama.
You're on, sir.
You got your wish, Stevens. Pritchard's coming to talk some sense into you. He's in the shuttlecraft, and we will be flying a defensive formation on him until he arrives. Now, power down your weapon.
He doesn't have a lot of time. You left me.
I died. I didn't leave you. You were taken. You were abducted and tortured, and that filthy parasite was shoved inside you to rattle around in your brain. Do not try and rewrite history to me.
That's where you're wrong. They didn't make me take the parasite. I chose it. When your people left me,
Then you were never a Starfleet officer, and you are a disgrace to that tattered uniform you wear. But because of the lives that stand behind me that I am sworn to protect, I will go along with your filthy little plan. You get the Commodore. Power down your weapons, or my Klingon friends and I will power them down for you.
I will power down nothing. If you are so willing
To
to
defend
give
those
him,
lives that I am sworn to protect? Yes, I will. This is your choice. This is you proving once again that this species cannot be trusted, that they must be feared and hunted across the galaxy in order to prevent infestations.
they didn't ask to be here.
They could
But
have
they're
asked
here.
politely for our help instead of crawling inside of our admirals and trying to take over the entire Federation.
Why would they? And then all of a sudden the voice changes. Why would we? We have watched you. You treat no one who's different well. Oh, yes, your Federation claims they do. But how many names do Vulcans have for Andorians that would never be said in mixed company? How many humans shy away from a Betazoid because they're afraid to be read? How many Bajorans still refuse to stand side by side with a Cardassian?
Yes, fear is a powerful instinct when we are designed to fear that which we don't understand, but through knowledge
Even
and wisdom, we choose, as my officers and I stand here shoulder to shoulder, protecting those who cannot protect themselves from threats presented by creatures such as yourself. But the
even
second you
that,
stop making yourself a threat, I will put down my phaser. Will you say the same?
I have told those who were left behind, sent to prisons, abandoned to pirates. We slayed their captors. We ended their torment. and we asked them if they wanted revenge. Show them. Show them now. And with that, a screen goes up. And what you realize is there are some people who are duck blinded behind technology. There are several of these hybrid type creatures on the ships. Even the Dead in the Water Klingon ship has 2 or 3 of them. But generally speaking, these vessels are crewed by non-infected people. They do have like residual subspace radiation about them, but they are not epsilon creatures. Similar to that kind of preparatory state that you saw with the Zunians. It's literally a few of these hybrids, and if you were to take them at their word, willing conspirators. You claim more than you actually have to give. Your own people do not wish to be a part of you.
And they are free to leave and live in peace. But when they come to my star systems, to my home, to my federation, and insist on bringing death and destruction, that will not be tolerated. You may leave, you may go, you may work with us in peace, but we will not take the choice of the individual away from them. You are free to choose as individuals your path. But if you choose the path of violence, I will stand between you and your victims.
We will choose the path that will keep us safe.
Then choose the path of peace. You are not my enemy. I do not hate you.
You
I
stand
only
in the way of my
fight.
goal.
Yes, the destruction of those I am sworn to protect. I do not hold malice to you or your people. I wish we could find a better way. I want to find a better way. But as long as you point weapons at us, I must treat you as a hostile threat.
You must understand, I made a deal. What I want may not be enough. You don't have to convince me if you are truly willing to give me what I want. But you will have to convince him. And with that, Stevens comes back. You promised me their heads. I will not stop until I get it. You're gonna get what you want anyway. We can both be happy. Or I can make it so you can't ever get what you want.
He's talking to himself, right?
Oh, absolutely he is.
Yeah, okay. I just kind of let him.
We have an agreement. We get what we want, and then you get what you want. Not the other way. Stevens looks up, and it's clear Stevens has taken full control at this point. Rama to fleet. Every ship, every weapon, everything you have. If they won't give us what we were promised first, we will take what they want away from the galaxy. All weapons destroy the Dilamus Christian.